Good morning, sir. I am the next discussant, and my topic is all about the foreign influences on Filipino culture. So, long before the arrival of foreign powers, the Philippines was inhabited by numerous indigenous groups, each of their languages, customs, and traditions. So, the Philippines has experienced foreign influences, most notably in China, Japan, America, and Spain. So first is the Spanish influence. So Spanish colonization of the Philippines for over 300 years left a lasting impact on the country's culture. Spanish influence is evident in many aspects of Filipino life, including the language, religion, food, and architecture. So the first Spanish influence is the language. So it is probably one of the most obvious influences of the Spanish colonization to the Philippines and can be seen in our language. According to language experts, there are approximately 6,000 words that are derived from Spanish. The Tagalog dialect also has about 4,000 words in Spanish roots. So, naay words na different lang siya in spelling but it sounds like um, for example, the word mansanas. So, in Tagalog, it is spelled with S and an extra S. While the counterpart of the Spanish is it's spelled with Z like manzana. So ang ilahang sounds is kining the same lang bitaw pero different sila in kaning spelling. So the Philippines is a multicultural country with influences di lang sa Spain, Japan, but in other countries. So mostly we speak more on Spanish words na na-adapt na natin in our culture and practices. So second is the religion. So this huge influence speak the fact that the Philippines is the only country with Christianity as predominant religion with Confucianism, Buddhism, Islam, and Hinduism. So, before pa man ni abot ang Spanish here sa atong country, our ancestors before is they were animistic. So, nagsasamba sila sa kahoy, bato, tubig, at iba pa. So, but then, nung dumating na yung mga Espanyol sa ating country, so, gipa-spread nila ang Christianity. So, up to this day, about 92% of Filipinos are Christians and 80% under the Catholic denomination. So, third is the food. So, we Pinoys love to eat and cook food na halos tibuok barangay kanang mapakaon na bitaw kay because of kanang our love for food. Kita mga Pinoy natay mga special dishes like leche flan, hamon, and queso de bola for Christmas. Then lumpia and pansit for birthdays. Then dili pud mawala ang atong lechon kay di ba kanang every fiestas na adjoy lechon. So next is the money. So, 'di ba, the way we count is similar lang sa Spanish like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on and so forth. Tungod ana na-adapt na nato ang Spanish money system. So which is kining our currency today is based in peso. So bisan pa magna kanang na ano ta sa kanang nasakop ta sa different countries but kining nag-remain lang gihapon nga ang ato ang currency karon is peso. Last is the infrastructure. So before the Spanish came here in the Philippines, the houses kay kuan made up of kining woods, then normal lang kataas ng isang tao. And then now the other houses are mostly kanang nanadjay kanang Spanish influences, like our double windows, terrace, and also our most of the churches are also built according to the Spanish style. So next is the American influence. So noong 1898, nagdeklara ng digmaan ang US sa Spain at nakuha ang kontrol ng Pilipinas through the Treaty of Paris. During World War II, there was initial conflict. The US then established the Philippines as a Commonwealth and promised independence, which was granted in 1946. This time, American influence introduced religious freedom, free education, clothing, food, and businesses into Filipino culture. First is the religious freedom. So, di ba when the Spanish came here in the Philippines, gipa-spread nila ang Christianity. So, when the American came here in the Philippines, so we have the religious freedom. So, we are kining free to choose whatever religion nga ato ang gusto. So, as of now, kay, di ba, kining daghanay nagkanang mga different religion nga kining nag-exist. Next is free education. So in 1898, schools were already opened in the city. In January 1901, the free primary education was provided and a schools for Filipino teachers was established. English. So bisan karon most of the Filipinos kay nagmix jud ang kanang sinultihan. So kining naitawag ana kanang Taglish. So mix Tagalog and kining English na kanang also na kuha na pud sa ato ang culture. So as you can see in the PPT, so there are the few types of clothing that American influence to Filipino culture. As you can see in the PPT, there are some American restaurants that have become very popular in the Philippines. And other American influences, especially in democracy. So it is a significant part of the American influence sa kultura ng Pilipino. Kaya when the US took control in the Philippines from the US in 1898, so they introduced a democratic principles and institutions, especially in education, to our country. Japanese influence on Filipino culture. So, the Japanese occupation in the Philippines lasted from 1942 to 1945, and it was characterized by atrocities or extreme cruelty, brutality against innocent people. So, during World War II, the Japanese took the Philippines from the control of the US. So, nahitabo ni siya between 1941 and 1945. So, when the US was able to take back the possession of the country, after regaining the possession, the US gave up its control, fulfilling its promise of granting full independence to the Philippines. So, tungod kay kadali lang ta nasakop sa mga Hapon, so wala kayo sila mga na-influence atoa nga na-adapt sa mga Pinoy. So, during the Japanese rule over in the Philippines, so the strict curfew was enforced. So, as a means of maintaining control, so pinipigilan ng mga Hapon ang anumang mga potential na resistance from the Filipino population. So next is the Japanese currency was introduced. So the Japanese currency, specifically the Japanese peso or the Mickey Mouse money, is considered as worthless money or have a little value. So this was introduced to replace the existing Philippine peso. So next is the barangays that were cut in half. So, barangays were cut in half to control the Philippine economy and manipulate the monetary system to their advantage. And a military government was implemented. Japanese believed that a military government would provide more efficient governance as decisions could be made quickly and implemented without opposition. So, as you can see, there are the most notably influences of the Japanese in the Philippines. So, first is the food. So, these have become a popular dishes in the Philippines. Then, the martial arts. So, were introduced to the Philippines during the Japanese occupation. Next is the technology. So, technology that usually Pinoys use for entertainment or libangan. Then, anime and manga. So, anime is a Japanese animation. So, example kay Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach, then while the manga is the Japanese term for a comic books or a graphic novels. Then, the language. Example, 'di ba kanang pag kanang magpalita sa kanang tindahan kay kanang 'di ba pag kanang permi na ka sa ilahan nagapalitan kay ang always na ginatawag sa imo kay uy suki diri ka palit. So, despite of those influences, the Filipinos have managed and developed a unique cultural identity. Among others, we Pinoys are distinct and being only one of its kind.